there is a ton of big breaking news, and we have top US officials coming out and giving emergency warnings of what's coming next. We have so much big news. We have top world organizations, all right? I have to be careful with my words here, but we have top world organizations that are coming out and saying, quote, the era of open global internet is over. They're saying the era of open internet is over. It's done. And they are now making plans to clamp down. And one of the big things that it seems like they're preparing us for is a potential blackout scenario of the internet or of the grid to reset a lot of these systems so they can build back a new system. That's what we're seeing with the banking crisis as well. All right, we're seeing a lot of banks still in the process of a slow motion collapse right now. A lot of regional banks are still in the process of collapsing, and we're going to see more in the next few months. And part of that is to collapse the small banks and absorb them into the larger banks so they can implement their agendas and their central banking digital currencies to track, trace all of these things. All right, but now we are seeing the internet and the grid being targeted, highly targeted, and now we're having one of these top global organizations coming out and saying, quote, the era of open global internet is over. This is what they are preparing for. And they also just made a, quote, confronting reality in cyberspace, foreign policy for a fragmented internet. All right, and this is coming out of the Council on Foreign Relations. The CFR is now warning that the internet is going to be reset. And we also have top government officials coming out and warning that the internet is going to be reset as well. So we're going to dive into all these things that are happening. And this is why you need to get prepared. Start homesteading, start growing some of your own food, start being less reliable on the grid, start managing your electricity, and get things like generators, solar generators, electric solar generators, get gasoline powered generators as well, all different types, so you are prepared. All right, start growing your own food, get chickens. I just built a little chicken coop here. All right, I'm going to show a little video here for you guys. You guys can see this is just a simple cattle panel cage. So I just took a simple cattle panel, $25 at any of your rural stores. All right, I took some 2x4s, I made a rectangular shape and to fit the cattle panel in it, and then I just wrapped it in chicken coop and put a door on it. And the chickens love it, the kids love it. The kids can go inside and just hang out in there and close the door. I still have a few finishing touches. But if the internet goes down, if the grid goes down, if these things happen, which they keep warning us, they're hitting us hard with these warnings. Normally these warnings only come out once a month. All right, we get some kind of warning, and it's not even really the same thing. It's like, all right, we need to be prepared for the banks, or be prepared for shortages or different things like that. But we are getting warning after warning from top officials. We're going to dive into all this stuff. And from the CFR as well, the Council on Foreign Relations, that the internet could be reset and the grid could be reset. And one of the excuses when the grid is going to be reset is that everything needs to be tracked and traced so we don't overload the grid, and things are going to be rationed. There's going to be credits for certain things that you are allowed to do to have access to the grid. All right, so you will only have a certain amount of kilowatts that you can access every single day, and only certain appliances, certain things will be allowed to be used during certain times. All right, they're already setting up this system in the UK. They already have it voluntarily where they pay you to do it, but they are going to clamp down and start doing this non-voluntarily. They're going to start forcing people to do this, and the excuse is going to be that the grid is collapsing. All right, and this is why it's just so important to grow your own food, because everything's connected to the internet. It only takes one of these major systems to go offline for the food infrastructure to go offline, for the supply chain to be disrupted, and there to be major shortages from these cyber attacks or these disruptions to the grid, these EMP-like events. We're seeing so many things on the table right now that something is coming soon, and we need to get prepared, and top US officials are getting prepared for it as well. So let's dive into what's going on. We have top US officials. We have the Navy coming out and giving us a major warning as well. That's a whole nother thing, but it's actually related because they are warning us it's going down. All right. And then we also have the CFR coming out and saying that, quote, the era of open internet is over. Lots of big moves are being made, and you need to get prepared, get off grid, get out of the cities, because when these systems go down, the cities are going to be hit the hardest. All right. So you can see here, let's dive into what the CFR is doing. Then we will get into these other top officials and the Navy, the US Navy warning as well. All right. They are warning that they've been hit, they've been infiltrated, and they're having major issues right now. So you can see here, and it's like, if the US Navy is being hit, if they're being infiltrated, how are you going to be protected? How is your bank account going to be protected? I've read so many stories of people saying their grandparents or their great-grandparents went to the banks days before there was a massive collapse, all right? Days before the Great Depression, days before the stock market crash, and they pulled out their money, all right? I'm not saying that's what you should do, but sometimes these intuitions come to you to do certain things, all right? Some people probably had this intuition for all these banks that have been collapsing, and hopefully some of them were able to get their money out. But let's dive into what's happening here and what they're trying to do. So the CFR is set up a, quote, independent task force called, quote, confronting reality in cyberspace, foreign policy for a fragmented internet. All right, so they're preparing us for fragmented internet, and they're saying that the era of open internet is over. And these are the main talking points that they are doing. So they have the first talking point: the era of open global internet is over. And it says also, cybercrime is a national security risk, and ransomware attacks on hospitals, schools, businesses, and local governments should be seen as such. How many reports have I been making of local governments being cyber attacked? Passaic County, New York, or New Jersey, right outside of NYC right now. Suffolk County, New York, right outside of NYC, being cyber attacked right now. This is happening all over the country. Dallas, Texas. These local governments are being hit left and right. And now the CFR, which is essentially like the WEF, all right? It's the less public version. It's like these global groups that we see: Bilderberg, CFR, WEF, all of these global institutions that are trying to implement globalist power, all right, consolidate power globally. They are warning that these cyber attacks are going to get a lot worse, and they're saying the solution for it is to clamp down on the internet. And the first bullet point on their talking points is the era of open global internet is over. So we need to be getting prepared. Hit it up down there. Hit that email list down there if you're not signed up, because you never know what could happen to me here. We could see a major clampdown going into the next few years as things deteriorate. All right. They don't want these messages out. They don't want people to be prepared for these events that are coming. They don't want people to know the next step. All right. And top US officials are telling us what the next step is as well. All right. They are giving us this warning. This is the headline: US lawmakers publish 10 ways to prepare for a war with China over Taiwan. This is insane that top US lawmakers are publishing this. And they are saying that major cyber attacks are on the way, and they're going to hit US critical infrastructure very soon. So you can see here, they also had 10 points. So very strange how all these different institutions are coming out at the same time and putting out these bullet points, and they all essentially have the same message. And the message is cyber attacks are coming. Look at all these senators that were issued satellite phones. All right, things are getting real. And I hate to tell them satellite phones are great, but I hate to tell them that if there's a EMP-like event or if there's a nuclear event, China has satellite killer weapons that could destroy the satellites. Also, EMPs could disrupt satellites as well. So you are not safe if you have a satellite. It's a better bet to have one, but you're still not safe for your communications. You can also get ham radios. They have little portable ones where you don't have to have a big system. You don't have to have a big receiver and all these different things and a big antenna. They have little handheld ones now that are like little walkie-talkies that you can tap into the ham radio network and talk to people. All right, so look at all these different things, little tiny ones, size of a phone, and you can throw it in your bug out bag. All these things could potentially save your life one day if the grid goes down, if communications go down. And they keep warning us that this is a major possibility coming up soon. And they're going to come back with a more extreme version of what we have. So the internet's going to be totally different. You're going to have internet IDs to log on, and everything you do will be tracked and traced, and you will have to have a government ID, and you can be banned from the internet. So not even just you're banned from this website or whatever, anything like that. You can make a new account. It's a internet ID that is coming, and you can be banned from the internet itself. You can't even get on it. You can't even read the news on the internet. This is what they're planning for, and they already have this system in certain countries. So get prepared now, get ready now. We could see a blackout just one day. One day you can't access my YouTube channel anymore. One day you can't go on YouTube anymore. And when you come back, it's a whole new YouTube, and it's been cleared out. All right. And if anything happens, you will be blocked from the internet. That's what we could see. This is the situation they're setting us up for. And you can see here, top US officials, they put out this list, 10 things that they need to do to get prepared for a massive world war. And they're saying that World War III is right around the corner. All right. That's why we need to get prepared. This is what top US officials are saying in the Senate. You can see here one of their main points is enhance cyber resiliency in U.S. critical infrastructure, especially at port, air, and rail facilities, with emphasis on military mobility. All right, so they are saying cyber attacks are going to hit our ports, air, and rail facilities. If you saw my video from a couple days ago, Microsoft was warning that all of these different things are subject to cyber attacks, and they've already been infiltrated, and the communications have been compromised. That leads us to our next article here. Look at this, and the US Navy is even admitting it. So Microsoft came out on Wednesday and said, look, essentially every critical US infrastructure system has been infiltrated, and there's been spies listening to the communications for months, potentially years. This has been going on behind the scenes, clandestine. They didn't know. They didn't know this was happening. Apparently they didn't know, all right? And now the US Navy is even coming out and admitting that they were compromised itself. So Chinese state-sponsored hackers infiltrated U.S. naval infrastructure. Secretary of the Navy says, this is coming out of CNBC just the other day. All right, Chinese state-sponsored hackers infiltrated U.S. naval infrastructure. Secretary of Navy says. It says critical communications, maritime, and transportation infrastructures were compromised. This is the Navy coming out and saying this. So Microsoft was saying this is what was happening already, but now the Navy has confirmed that their own systems have been compromised. I mean, what else do you need? If the Navy itself isn't safe, then how do you think you are safe? How do you think you are going to be protected from these cyber incidents when they start hitting the banks, when they start hitting your phone? They hit all the Androids, they hit all the Apples, they hit all the whatever. They hack an update. They're able to infiltrate an update for Apple and insert some malicious code in the middle of all of it. The engineers don't even know what's in there. Some rogue engineer, some rogue cyber finesse where they're able to get in there, okay, and implement this code. All these things are on the table. People are not thinking imaginative enough, big enough with these ideas of what could happen with these cyber incidents, because we are not accustomed to living in this cyber world where everything we do is tracked, traced, listened to, and connected to the grid and the internet. And it's extremely convenient, but it's also extremely vulnerable. And I feel like us as humans, we have not really adapted to the threat of this. We've adapted to the convenience, but we've not adapted to how big of a threat it is, and we are not able to comprehend it and take it seriously. But even the US Navy itself has been infiltrated, and they're saying their communications have been infiltrated. So they are able to listen to the US Navy, and they know exactly where their ships are going before they even go there. They know exactly what their strike plans are, their strike patterns. They know exactly what their training drills are going to be. They know exactly what they're doing at all times because they're able to listen to the Navy, and the Navy is the backbone of our global military, right? It's the backbone of any global military. It's the Navy, and able to transport these ships around. So this is huge that the US Navy is coming out and saying, yep, Chinese state-sponsored hackers infiltrated our infrastructure, and there's nothing we can do about it. All right, we're just gonna have to rebuild our infrastructure. And this is what I keep saying: if there's a major cyber attack, if the grid goes down, if the AI is able to implicate a cyber attack on the grid that we are not able to comprehend and decipher and break down, then we might have to rebuild all of these systems over again. And it could take a decade to rebuild. And what's going to happen in the meantime, while all these systems are down and we are completely vulnerable, what's going to happen militarily, geopolitically, what's going to happen to the dollar, what's going to happen militarily with America's military might, right? All these things are on the table, and all these things are vulnerable right now, and we are getting warning after warning that a big one is coming. And what do you think is going to happen when the grid does collapse, when the internet does go down? Think of all the commerce that is connected directly to the internet, that takes place exclusively on the internet every single day, every day. Billions of dollars in commerce every day, exclusively transacted on the internet. All these things come to a halt. All the shipping and supply chain logistics come to a halt. And this is a major problem. And what are people going to do in this situation? People are going to line up to these government facilities where they're offering food, where they're offering water. But you might have to compromise. You might have to make compromises in parts of your life where you don't want to compromise. You might have to give up something. You might have to do something to get this food, to get this access when it's really going down in an emergency situation. All right, I've talked about this before. I made whole videos about this before, how Microsoft itself, because we're talking about Microsoft, how they warned on Wednesday, and now the US Navy said, yep, confirmed, we've been compromised, because all these companies use Microsoft in their internal systems. All right, they use it to email each other, all this stuff. So they've been compromised. And I've made whole videos how Microsoft itself has a patent, and it's a very suspicious patent number. All right, I don't even want to say it because it's very sketchy, the number of it, but entire patents connected to cryptocurrency mining actions directly related to physical actions with your body. All right, so essentially it's wearable or insertable technology that goes on your body or in your body, and you are rewarded cryptocurrency tokens if you do the correct things. If you do the actions that are required, you are rewarded a cryptocurrency token. This is what the patent is for, and it's actually patented by Microsoft. Okay, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because if the grid collapses, if all these things collapse, there's going to be rationing. Okay, and how are they going to ration these things? They're going to track and trace it all, and they're going to give people these central banking digital currencies, these cryptocurrencies, and that's how they are going to ration things for you. You're going to be given a certain amount of currency, or you're going to be given a certain amount of currency for an action that you did, or just daily. Okay, if things get that bad, if there is that bad of a situation, you will just get a daily allotment from your cryptocurrency, but you have to follow the required actions, and you have to follow the rules or your currencies will be deducted and your currency will be rationed. Okay, you will have 10 a day, and you can only use that for, that's all you get for food, energy, water, shelter. That's all you get per day, and you're gonna have to ration your supplies, ration your energy consumption to be able to eat. Okay, there's not gonna be enough cryptocurrency to have your lights on, to have your AC blasting all day in the middle of summer. This is what this is leading to, all right? This is what the future is heading towards. And I know this might sound a little sci-fi, a little futuristic, but we are living in the future, and a lot of this technology already exists. It just hasn't been implemented yet because people aren't just going to willingly take it. They have to have an excuse to take it, all right? I've already talked about how AI has been mapped out to read your brain waves, to actively read your brain waves, and they have counter AIs to interject brain waves into your brain remotely. They are working on things like this to map out your brain, see exactly what kind of frequency would interact with your brain the best, to imprint a thought into your brain with frequencies remotely using AI. All right, I know this sounds all futuristic, but I've shown the articles on here a million times. I've shown all the articles over the past year, all right? But these things are happening right now. We are living in the future, and we need to be prepared. And the point is, they have to have a big event, all right? We had Klaus Schwab even warning of a black swan event coming this year. He warned of that at the beginning of the year. He said a black swan's coming at his World Government Summit. And he was saying, you guys need to be prepared. He was warning all his little people there, the black swan is coming and you need to be prepared for it, guys. He was telling them. So they need a black swan to reset things, and then they can build a new system on top of that that's safe, reliable, and it's not going to be overloaded. We're not going to have these blackouts. We're not going to have these internet outages, anything like that, these major cyber attacks, because they will be safe and protected. All right, so get prepared now, guys. Get off grid now. Please hit it up down there for me to get this video out to more people. We have major warnings going out. The U.S. Navy said they have been cyber attacked. All right, and they're saying their communications have been hit. We have top U.S. senators coming out and saying that a cyber attack could hit our ports, our airports, our critical infrastructure as well. And we have the CFR coming out and saying the era of open internet is over. It's over. They're saying it's over. That's one of their main talking points. And they created a special task force to deal with this. And they're saying it's going to be the dividing of the internet. They're going to cut the internet up and put it into blocks. And you can only access certain things. Very restricted. Iron wall on the internet. All right. That's what they're going to do. Iron curtain on the internet. That's what they want to have. And they're saying they're going to implement it very soon. So hit this video up down there to get it out while we still can, guys. Make sure you're getting prepared. Make sure you're getting chickens, getting seeds, getting stocked up on canned food, rice, get a water filter, get a little ham radio, whatever it is. Just every month, get something little. This is how it is out here. I'm out here on 10 acres of nothing. Absolutely nothing. 10 acres of sagebrush. All right. And we're in our travel trailer. And we're just building as we go. Every day I'm just building new things, getting new materials, going to town. I got to drive an hour and a half to get to the ranch store. Hour and a half. And we live out here. But it's worth it, guys. It's fun building stuff. It's fun growing your food. It's fun getting your homestead rolling. And it's worth it. So get going now, guys. Hit it up down there too. Please have a big old blessed day as well. I hope you have big blessings for your family. You guys have truly blessed me and made this off-grid journey possible, and I'm extremely thankful to all my listeners, all my subscribers, everyone that's ever watched, commented, like anything. I'm super grateful to all you guys, and I hope you guys have a big old blessed day.